Hey everyone, welcome to another week of SEO. This week I'm Clint Butler. Today we're going to talk about Google doing AI backgrounds to your own ad photography, copywriting, and a whole lot more. So let's get into SEO this week. All right, the first thing I wanted to show off, this is from Mark Williams Cook. This isn't necessarily news as more it is kind of irony, right? So he had a website, Dungeons and Dragons. You can argue whether Dungeons and Dragons is useful or not. Shots fired. I've never played it, but he had a Dungeons and Dragons website. You can see that he had a lot of nice traffic going on, and then HCU came and smacked it down. Um, no analysis given, but 95,000 clicks. I mean, it would seem to be a pretty popular page, right? And the click-through rate and the impressions rate are on par with each other. I don't see a reason, just looking at this data, why the website would be hit. That's neither here nor there. They did lose 99% of his traffic. So what he did is he copied all the content and he put it on LinkedIn Pulse. So if it's the same content, ergo, if Google was reading the content of the website and grading it, it shouldn't have worked. But 72 hours later, he's got the featured snippet. The article is in the AI overview, which is pretty interesting and suspicious. Now, if you've been following me for a long time, I've always been the advocate for small businesses, and I say that Google's targeting small businesses. To me, it seems like they have just like this war against small businesses. And these are the types of websites that small businesses would own. So to take the exact same content and put it on an authority site, and we'll use that term loosely for LinkedIn because that Pulse thing is new when compared to other things, right? But LinkedIn Pulse is new, so it hasn't really gotten spammed to death, but I'm sure it will at some point. Anyway, having small business content rank really well on authority sites just kind of drives home the point that Google does not care about small businesses, never has cared about small businesses, and they will leverage you for every dollar that they can, and then shut you out if you complain. So just know that if your business isn't getting a lot of traction, Google doesn't read content. It's clearly, if they had read content, then this test would not have worked. Google is ranking based off of authority, and authority is based off of backlinks. So keep an eye out for backlink opportunities to increase your authority. Keep an eye out for technical SEO, and keep an eye out for entity optimization. Ergo, TF-IDF is entity optimization. If you look at any TF-IDF list, it's inevitably going to have known entities in it. So think about all of those things before you make too many assumptions about whether you got hit by a penalty. It could be you just got suppressed in your market because there were now authority sites there, and Google has switched over from supporting small businesses or small publishers to supporting authority publishers. So HCU is tricky, man. There's this idea that I have that HCU is a quality page, a quality website measurement, not a content website measurement. And the easiest way for Google to do that is to look at the backlinks of a website, both internal and external, and say, are these numbers low or do they have none? And then let's say you have a 100-page website and 99% of the pages don't have backlinks and traffic. It seems to me it would be easy to say, well, if 99% of the website doesn't have backlinks from external sources, and or you don't have internal links, which means you don't care enough about that content to even vote for it yourself, i.e. building internal links to it, then why should we index you? And that's why your pages drop out of the index. And then HCU came along and said, well, if 99% of your site sucks, then why should we rank any of your site? And then smacked it down. So there's a couple theories behind there, but the end point of this is Google is not reading your content. It can't judge whether your content is helpful or not, and it will front load your own content on authority sites over your own website. So be careful with all of that, or be cognizant of it. I won't say be careful, be cognizant of it and leverage this. As long as LinkedIn Pulse is going to be ranking for stuff in Dungeons and Dragons, go write some Dungeons and Dragon content on LinkedIn Pulse. Put your ads in it, put some affiliate links in there, and go to town until Google smacks down LinkedIn Pulse. Next is a Liquor Studio template. I'm an advocate of Liquor Studio templates. I don't generally do reports for my clients, but I do have a couple of Liquor Studio templates that I leverage when we're, if I have a client that's having a hard time getting information out of GA4, or having a hard time diagnosing why they're not getting leads from their website, or why those sales are not, those leads aren't translating into sales. So oftentimes you can start by looking at a Liquor Studio template to get some more advice. In this case, this is a Liquor Studio template that helps you leverage GA4, which is probably the worst Google Analytics platform on the planet. Or the worst analytics platform on the planet is GA4. So this helps you get a little bit more information out of it. And that's why I'm highlighting this for you. And you can see the template here has page refers, the landing page that is going to, and the sessions that you're getting, which is typical that you can see out of everything else. And then you have the different sources broke down in here as well. You see the page size. What I like about it is, here's the landing page and a refer, and then you have the sources, Medium in this case, Reddit, or let's say you're targeting, what's it called? Images. So you get Pinterest, that kind of stuff. And you can double down on these alternative traffic sources and focus less on Google, or use the alternative traffic sources to boost your traffic and your internal linking, which ultimately, in theory, would help you with Google. And there's a couple different options here, a couple different views. You can check this out. But again, it just cleans out that data a little bit better. Social media. Let's see what else we got. Maps by month. Heat map style. That's just kind of you want to see for a trend, like where should I invest all of my time? If I was this website, I would be investing in Reddit and LinkedIn. And map by week. Yeah, Reddit and LinkedIn. And then you got one lucky post. Well, there's plenty of posts on Medium that are driving traffic. So I think, Reddit, LinkedIn, probably Medium if you're going to use Medium as a content marketing platform. But this is a cool Google Looker Studio template for you. If anything, you get some ideas out of it. Next is Google, the AI copyright. Now, the idea is that if you're using AI to write content, then generally that content is the product of someone else. So it's not yours. So it's not copyrightable because you didn't create it. You didn't have a tangible hand in creating it, even if you created the prompt that made it. And that's because the tool is using math to analyze other people's documents, other people's content, and then create a association or a best of type of document from the data set that is taught. So what the Copyright Office has said now is you can indeed copyright AI generated content, with a caveat. You have to have significant editorial input into the final document. So there's no percentage, but significant, I think, is the key word there. So if you go through a document and just do Grammarly, for example, it might not be significant enough, but if you go in and edit and move around paragraphs, change sentence structure, add or delete paragraphs, etc., now you have significant editorial process in the AI content. Again, there's no, like, in the article, there's no, and this article was free before, but in the article, there you can look it up on other sites, by the way. But in the article or in the information, there was no minimum guideline of what editorial is. It would be safe to say that, let's say you did the whole Grammarly thing, where you ran over through a couple grammar tools and you did change pretty much every sentence or every paragraph got touched by you under the editorial guidelines, that you have qualified for copywriting that AI generated content. Adding images to it, this whole document, for example, is ergo now edited. And it's not solely AI generated; it's edited. So I would look at that if this is really a big concern for you. Frankly, once it's on the internet, it's out there for everyone in the world to see. As long as they cite you, then who cares? And everyone who's stealing copyrighted content on the net these days is typically overseas from where you are. So the chances of you being able to legally go after them is really slight. I mean, I've only know of one instance in the U.S. where a mass page builder was sued by the content creator and news site, and that's the only one that I know of. Not to say it's not happening, but I mean, it's short of you having someone that deliberately just scrapes your site and puts up another version, another copy of it, and just changes the imagery, i.e. the logos and the name and stuff. You're not going to see this too much anymore these days, because AI allows those people that were doing that kind of stuff to create essentially unique content with AI cheaper and reduce any of the legal liabilities. So there is still the negative SEO aspect of it, of taking this content and putting it on, say, LinkedIn Pulse and not ranking you with your own content. And then in that situation, the copywriting laws would be useful for you. If anything, to send to LinkedIn and say, hey, that's my content, and here's being stolen, I'm enforcing my copyright. I'd like you to remove it. And if you don't, the person that puts it up, in all likelihood, that put it on LinkedIn, wouldn't necessarily be subject to anything other than LinkedIn removing it. But just know that that's an option for you, and it's a tool in your toolbox. Next is Google has adding an Ask Me feature to call businesses on your behalf. So if it wasn't bad enough that small businesses had to deal with the 50 phone calls from Google Maps, in my niche, it's, would you like to white label our services, sir? That's the one that gets us all the time. I can't imagine like concrete installers or plumbers or whatever, and you want to rank your Google map for only $99, we can do it for you, where they just scrape their phone number off of their Google map, for Christ's sake. It just amazes me. But now we're giving them another tool, and this is the Ask Me feature. I think the benefit out of this is that it's coming from Google, so you can essentially have to field calls from their AI. The downside is I didn't see a whole lot in regards to controls. So what is stopping someone going through your competitors, for example, and mashing that button for all the businesses, and keeping you busy on the phone talking to AI versus talking to actual real customers? And the flip side of this, from the customer's perspective, so many companies have adopted AI to answer their phones that they kind of deserve it to have their AI sit there and answer questions from other AI. They've earned that. I mean, when you takes 5 minutes to go through all the different push button options on a call center or a call system just to get to a real person, I don't necessarily feel bad for you if people blow up your phone lines and cost you a whole lot of money having talking to Google AI. So find a balance there, folks. I mean, if you're getting inundated by spam, figure out a way to reduce that pressure on your phone systems, save you a little bit of money. But at the same time, if you're just, I'm going to go all in and have AI talk to people, then don't be surprised if you're lighting money on fire because now Google's got their AI asking your AI questions. Google Business edit all products feature. This is actually interesting. So let's say you, first off, I wouldn't make a Google My Business profile for an e-com only store. If you have a retail location, by all means, knock it out. But for e-com only store, I wouldn't do it. But what they're doing is, let's say you have taken the time to go to a photographer and do product photography, and that product photographer uses white background and the spinning table and captures your image from all directions. Well, those white backgrounds, Google, for whatever reason, someone in the Google sphere decided that, hey, we don't want to use white backgrounds anymore. And they're giving you the option to use AI inside of there to turn that white background or any other background into a Google or AI Studio option. They'll change the backgrounds for it. For Google My Business, I actually don't have a problem with that whatsoever. You can play around with it, change click-through rate. Assuming that you can go in there and edit that over and over and over again, maybe even change it once a month. That shows that you're updating your map and you're engaging with it. Maybe your images get more engagement. Ergo, your map gets more engagement, and then perhaps you rank higher. So I think in this situation, it's good. Where I think it's bad is that in Google Shopping ads, they're actually just going to test it. Like you as an advertiser can say yes, do it, or don't do it. But you have absolutely zero input into the backgrounds that this thing is creating. So what if those backgrounds are increasing your CTR rate, but the ads themselves, the images for, I don't know, for, let's say it creates a background where it generates a lot of interest in the image and people want to look at those more images, but then it doesn't result in more sales. That can increase your ad spend. Or if you have specific add to landing page to product design and set up and tested, and it's performing, and then Google comes in there and changes your images with the background with their AI all on their own. I think that this is stupid. I think if they had added the feature to AI to shopping ads for ads publishers in the same way that they did the product images in GPP, brilliant. You can test around with CTR, especially in ads where it's important you're spending money. But to just force it upon people and say, well, it's an all or nothing feature. You turn it on and we'll do it for you, or you turn it off and we won't do it for now because we're air quotes testing it. I think that as a advertising platform, that was a really piss poor decision and very short-sighted on Google's part. All right, done with the news. Now, let's get into the questions. Got 3 more from Reddit. This one is always every year. Are no-follow links worth any effort? So if you know anything about the history of no-follow and do-follow, no-follow was originally designed to tell Google, don't pass any link juice. It's designed for the robot to go, you put no follow and it won't go to that link. But it also inhibits the flow, or it used to inhibit the flow of link juice to your pages. So there's a lot of people in forums, et cetera, saying don't do no follow links. They're no good for you. You're wasting your time, blah, blah, blah. And then there were people like me who were actually testing this stuff out. And when I was in my affiliate days, I was ranking pages with only no follow links. So even when it was only no follow and do follow, no follow links indeed ranked pages. You get rankings because of those, because no follow really at the end of the day is a suggestion to the bot. Whether they want to follow that link or not is completely up to them, and whether that bot is programmed to honor it. So what happened was a lot of the internet actually switched to no follow. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the big sites, all the user-generated content sites, they all switched to no follow, and it was kind of defeating the purpose of what no follow was, to reduce crawl. So Google said, hey, we're going to still crawl this, but we want you to better identify what that link of that purpose is. So now we have do follow, no follow, user-generated content, and sponsored links. In testing, no follow, do follow, and user-generated content all increase rankings when you use it. Google is not, it's not a inhibitor to link juice. I hate that fucking term, but it's not an inhibitor to the authority that passes from one link to another when you use do follow, no follow, or user generated link. The one that does inhibit it is actually sponsored links, when it makes a whole lot of sense. Let's think about it. If you have Amazon links on there, Amazon affiliate links. Amazon ranks all well by themselves anyway, so they don't need the link juice. But if you have Amazon affiliate links, you put sponsored on there and then it does nothing. If you do sponsored on one of your pages to another one of your pages, the page that gets the sponsored link will get no effect, because sponsored is not passing on authority through the link. So is no follow worth the effort? The question should be, why is it worth the effort to look at the difference between no follow, do follow, and user generated content? They all pass authority, and they all will help you increase your pages. The only instance that it doesn't is sponsored, and generally that would be if you have an affiliate program and your affiliates are building links to your pages and they're using sponsored, then your product wouldn't get any SEO benefit from the links created by your affiliates. But other than that, there's this question will continue to be asked. I will point out, if you follow these, you can see a whole bunch of different theories or ideas behind it. And no one said, I tested this, which is interesting. But like here, this SEO pub guy said this links and discussion forums are generally a waste of time. Depending on how you make them. But if you're a Dungeons and Dragons, we'll go back to that one. You're a Dungeons and Dragons and you have a Dungeons and Dragon website, and you're active in a forum or a community that has a whole bunch of Dungeons and Dragons people on it, you're going to get traffic from them. And you're already active in that forum, so you're not wasting your time. Coming to Reddit, for example, and commenting in your favorite subreddits, and you're there all the time, and you have a website about it, why not talk about it? You're generally not wasting your time. Doing YouTube videos and putting your links in descriptions, those are no follow. That also happens to be how I was ranking authority products back then. Do 4 or 5 YouTube videos, put some links in the description, because I was launch jacking, rank pretty quickly doing that. That still works. So, and let's see here. High value links from Wikipedia. This is another good point. I ranked a page for lead generation systems with only one backlink from Wikipedia. That was no follow. Let's see. Where's some more? Yeah, right ratio of backlinks. This is a myth. Google doesn't care about the ratio. It will put out a big ass flag though if you're 100% do follow, right? Everyone has you get a natural progression. Naturally, that'll actually lead towards the opposite of what this fellow is saying. Naturally, because most websites are set to no follow, especially the larger websites, you will get a ratio in the other direction where 70% no follow and 30% do follow. That's totally natural. So just ignore the ratios really there. Um, let's see. It depends. No, actually, it doesn't. Let's see. I heard in a statement on SEMrush Training Community that any links that you can create on another website is a waste of time. Other people have to create your link. This is complete order. And this is a top 1% commenter in an SEO forum saying that. So there you go. Remove 404s from the Search Console. John Mueller came in here himself and said you can't remove 404s from Search Console. Is actually correct. There is no way to go in there and say don't count this as a 404 or no need to report on this. All you have is validate fix to say, and the idea is you're telling Search Console that you fixed a 404 and ergo it's working now. But 404s in and of themselves aren't bad things, and you're going to get them, especially in this person's case. He had a job dashboard, and the jobs were go away so that they would delete the pages, ergo a 404. Now, I personally wouldn't handle that way. I would redirect that page to the head department. So if I'm looking for human resources people and the jobs go away, I go to the head, and I have a directory, right? So I'm going to go human resources jobs, and I'll redirect that page to that. And then I won't have to deal with 404 errors and any traffic that from other sources, my promotion sources, and then any backlinks would go to the human resources job category. So I would handle it that way. But yes, you can't remove 404 errors from them. And yes, they are natural. And no, they're not hurting you because you have 404 errors. That it is a good tool to monitor your 404 logs to see which pages that you killed a long time ago are still getting traffic, and then handle the redirects in that matter. But if Google is just finding the 404s out of the blue, typically you either have backlinks to them, you have traffic to them, or you got them still in your sitemaps, and those are the things you have to fix. Changing slugs on a new website. This is first, if it's a brand new website, go to town. Just play with it, test it, knock yourself out. You're not really hurting anything, especially he's only got 30 to 40 active users. He's probably not making, unless they're like stupid, highly targeted 30, 40 active users, probably not making any money. So knock it out. I like the idea of what he's doing here. He's got a site, and the implication is it's kind of a touristy site. So there's probably got a lot of value in regards to display ads revenue that they can generate. So, and I kind of like both ways that he did it. He's a city, state. Obviously, this guy's backwards. My guess is probably not from the US, but he's got ports, country, city, state. So I'm going to type in here. So that would be ports, US, Arizona, Phoenix. Now, for those of you that are not in the US, this is actually not how you would do it. You would do US ports, Arizona. There's no ports in Arizona. Arizona, and then Phoenix. Country, state, city, right? Now, if doing, that's one way, or you can do Phoenix, Arizona, and then eliminate the subdirectory of the states. But I would probably say go this way, and it would be better for you in regards to that structure. Now, this one is actually even interesting to me. If you're going to do, again, he changed the niche and he changed the idea of the structure, but let's go this way. I'll take this out just because it is kind of confusing. So you have best activities. Now I would do best activities, activities, Arizona, Maricopa, because he's doing county. Phoenix. And what this would be is best activities. This page would have the best activities from around the country, like the top 10 best activities. And this would have the best activities from the state of Arizona. This would have the best activities listed from the entire county. And this would be specifically Phoenix. And that structure would actually work pretty well too. And you could probably build this site up pretty easily using Google's own data, things to do, kind of searches. I would suggest that it would do okay. A lot of these best activities things are taken over in the search results, or you have really established travel websites, etc., that'll dominate those searches. But some of the long-term stuff would actually do pretty good. So you got to think outside of the box and the type of best activities to do, like best activities in Yuma, Arizona, isn't going to cut it. You got to think about the niches, best Can-Am trails, best things to do on the sand dunes, best things to do in the foothills, best things to do at the lake. Those kind of posts, in which case, this is going to be an issue here because you have best activities. And if I go best activities Phoenix, I'm kind of keyword stuffing and it just looks like crap. So I would do best hiking in Phoenix. Let's see, best mountain biking in Phoenix, that kind of thing. Copying best is fine, but best activities for mountain bikers, best activities for hikers, then you get a little bit redundant. I don't know that it would necessarily hurt you, but at the end of the day, it just my OCD would kick in, and that structure would kind of piss me off. So you can even at this point, you can leave best out to you, and I would be happy with that structure. The title tag, meta description, H1s are going to handle best for you on each one of these pages. You don't necessarily, and you have it here in your URL. I think you're good. So that's how I would use that. All right. That was the questions and the news. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to leave the link. Generally, you can see the links for everything, or you can search for them in the title, but I'll leave the link for the Looker Studio dashboard inside of the description just so you can get to that directly. I would suggest also checking out the blog post just to see his use cases and why he built that studio the way you want, if you really care. Otherwise, just plug the stupid thing in to your GA4 account and go to town. But other than that, thank you very much, and see you next week.